I was 46 when everything changed, but the unraveling had started 17 years earlier, back when I thought I had it all. A good job, a beautiful wife, and soon a child on the way. I was 29 then, working in marketing at a small publishing firm in Chicago. Leah was in HR. She had a spark to her. Quick-witted, magnetic, the kind of woman who made the mundane feel electric. I fell fast and hard. Within a year, we were married. Not long after, she told me she was pregnant. I still remember that moment. The way I laughed and spun her around, lifted her off the floor like a scene out of some cheesy movie. I promised her and that unborn child that I'd be the best father possible. We named her Kayla. She was my world from the moment she opened her eyes. Every scraped knee, every school project, every late-night fever. I was there. Being her father wasn't a role I played. It was who I was. What I didn't know was that the same year Kayla was conceived, Leah had an affair. It was short, she later claimed, just a brief lapse in judgment with a co-worker named Darren from the finance department. She never told me. She just buried it and moved forward like nothing had ever happened, pretending as if everything we were building was real and untainted. I didn't see the cracks. Or maybe I chose not to. Through the years, our marriage went through its fair share of turbulence. We fought about money, about how she worked late too often, about how I brought work stress home. We even separated briefly when Kayla was 10, a trial run at Independence. But I kept fighting for us, because that's what I thought love was, persistence, even when it hurt. Then came Kayla's 17th birthday. She had just been accepted into Northwestern. I was proud in a way that's hard to describe, the kind of pride that comes from years of sacrifice. I'd skip vacations, taken double shifts, stashed away every extra dollar, so her future could be secure. I was ready to give a speech at her party, to tell her how much she meant to me. But that day didn't go as planned. She stood across the yard, laughing with her friends, her voice rising above the music and chatter. I was walking over to hand her a birthday card when I heard it, sharp, deliberate, cruel. He's not even my real dad anyway. The world around me seemed to stop. I froze, confused, hoping I misheard. But then she looked at me, right at me, and repeated it, calm and clear. You're not my biological father. Darren is. Mom told me everything. The card slipped in my hand. People fell silent. I looked at Leah. Her face had gone pale. She didn't say a word. Not a denial. Not an apology. Nothing. I left without another word. Drove for hours without knowing where I was headed. My mind spun as I replayed the years. Teaching Kayla to ride a bike. Reading her bedtime stories. Being there for every moment that mattered. And in an instant, it all felt erased. Not even by Leah, but by the child I thought I had raised with love. The next day, Leah finally tried to talk. She said it had been a mistake, that she hadn't meant to let it go that far, and that Darren had meant nothing. She claimed she only recently learned for certain that he was Kayla's father. I asked her one thing. When did you tell Kayla? Her answer was a dagger. Last year, she had kept this from me again. Let our daughter see me as some pitiful placeholder while she fed her another man's name as a real father. That's when I made my decision. I found a lawyer. Quietly. No fights. No shouting matches. I filed for divorce. I ordered paternity tests. Not because I doubted the truth, but because I needed it in black and white. Needed it for the record. And it was confirmed. I wasn't Kayla's biological father. But that wasn't the end. I reviewed my will, my financial plans. I removed Kayla from my life insurance, from her college fund, not out of vengeance, but clarity. I had been treated like a resource, not a father. And now that the truth was out, no one, neither Leah nor Kayla, had come to me with anything resembling remorse. They expected me to keep playing the role, despite the betrayal. But I was done. When Kayla found out about the money, she burst into my apartment, sobbing, accusing me of abandoning her. I let her speak, and then I asked one question. When did you last say thank you? She stood in silence. I pressed on. When you found out Darren was your father, did you ever think about what that would do to me? Did you think about the man who showed up every single day? Or did you just toss me aside, She had no answer. You chose blood over love. I told her. Now ask him for help. She wept, and I wept too, but not for her, for the man I used to be, the one who believed love would always be enough. Leah tried to reach out, saying we could heal, still co-parent. I told her plainly. She killed that when she buried the truth for 17 years. I was done. Life began to feel lighter. I traveled, picked up photography again, met a woman named Elaine who saw me, really saw me, and didn't flinch when I told her everything. But the fallout wasn't over. A few weeks later, I received a registered letter. Leah was suing me, not for child support. That was done. No, she wanted spousal support, citing the years she'd stayed home to support the family. I laughed first. Then I cried. She had cheated, lied, let me pour myself into a lie for nearly 2 decades. And now she wanted money. I told my lawyer, take it to court. I want the truth on record. The trial was swift but brutal. The paternity test was submitted. My lawyer tore through Leah's story with surgical precision. Emails surfaced. Years of messages between her and Darren. A line in one stopped the courtroom cold. Kayla's eyes look more like yours every year. The judge denied her spousal support. He chastised her for her deceit in open court. I walked out not feeling victorious, but free. 2 months later, at a coffee shop, a man approached me. Are you Michael? Yes. I'm Darren. He looked embarrassed, anxious. I didn't know, he said. She never told me Kayla might be mine. She just showed up last week at my office. With Kayla, said I needed to step up. I stared at him. He continued. She's pushing her onto me now. I don't want to be a father to someone I've never met. I thanked him and left. What broke me wasn't his rejection. It was realizing Leah was spinning the same story all over again, casting new roles for a recycled lie. A few weeks later, Kayla messaged me. One line. He doesn't want anything to do with me. I waited before responding. Then I wrote back. Now you understand. I cared when I didn't have to. I loved you before I knew the truth. But when it mattered, you pushed me away. DNA doesn't make a father. Love does. And you made your choice. She never replied. 8 months passed. Leah lost her job. The trial's fallout lingered. Darren ghosted her after she threatened him with a paternity suit. Kayla deferred college. Moved in with a friend, I heard. And me? I went to Italy. Learned to cook real pasta. Started writing again. Found joy in quiet mornings and honest conversation. Elaine knows everything. She listens, she understands, and she doesn't see me as broken, just healing. I don't know what's next, but I know this. I will never again let guilt silence my truth. Because the day Kayla said, he's not even my real dad, was the day I finally understood. Love, when unappreciated, must be protected. And now mine is